guy named Tom Frost. Okay, he was a big banker, all right? Because he was Mr. Big. He was the power guy. Then we had this negotiating session, which didn't go anywhere. At any rate, at some point, I decided that I had to act. So I went up to Mr. Frost, and I said, what you're saying is balderdash, Mr. Frost. Well, he'd never expected that from a Mexican, okay? We had a large group downstairs, and the messenger was sent, and they began to turn dollars into pennies and pennies into quarters, and we had this big change in.
Went back and said, what do we do now? Say, okay, well, we'll go to Alamo National Bank and do the same thing. So we went to Alamo National Bank, tied up that bank. And then shortly thereafter, the president of the Chamber of Commerce came to the cops' office and said, what is it you want? You know, what do you want?
The cops team wanted and got a hearing. The research was so thorough and the presentation so convincing, the city agreed to fix the problem. Cops got results, and the democratic process got a new player.
With pennies in hand, we demanded recognition, power, and our rightful seat at the table of decision. Cops will be returning there to that historic site, demanding more change. Not small change anymore, but billions of dollars of change. And so now, 20 years later, none of our communities flood.
The city built drainage ditch after drainage ditch. Each cop's victory led to a bigger one, in all $750 million of change.
Bureaucracies do not know how to resolve needs. The people who can resolve the need are those that have the need. It's a victory, but it's not a victory of one, it's a victory of many. And that's important. And that's important for organizations all over the country to understand and to remember that the organization is not the leaders, the organization is the base, and the base is the community. We are really democracy in action. I mean, call us whatever you want, but we are democracy in action, and that's the way it's supposed to work.
Moody Gardens in Galveston, Texas, where gardening has become therapy and tragedies are turned to hope.
These are going to take quite a while to germinate, but they'll be worth it when they finally come up, okay?
Seed by painstaking seed, this patient starts anew. His life forever changed by a car accident. He learns to use his fingers again, strengthens his muscles. Coordination, morale. This greenhouse is part of Hope Therapy, an institution born when one family faced its own tragedy.
I think it was June 1st or June 2nd of 1980, and Russell had just completed his first year of college at the University of Texas.
One moment I'm out playing football, running track.
Russell was basically at a standstill when this car rear-ended him, you know, going in excess of 50 miles an hour.
The next moment you have to be in a wheelchair.
And it was just something that you could never imagine happening to somebody in your family.
Look at my father, who's a pusher and go, go, go. You gotta get out more and gotta exercise.
Let go of the saddle, stand up really tall.
Hey, Jamie, look at this.
That's pretty good. Nope, don't sit yet. I want you to keep standing.
Today we're still...
Russell's father, Robert Moody, did push him to exercise. When he found out that a horse's rocking movements could help heal brain and spinal injuries, he built a stable so Russell, like this youngster, could spend regular sessions in the saddle. The success of the riding program led Moody to establish a therapy center.
Just look with your eyes.
People actually came looking to my dad for help for their family and for their friends. And through that, my father realized that what he was doing for his son could be done for other people with similar situations.
It started as a very small program. We had 2 horses, myself and one riding assistant. She was a therapy assistant. And we did about 25 clients a week. And we did that for the first 3 months of operation. And by March of 1986, we had a pretty full caseload.
Hope Therapy is the heart of Moody Gardens. The gardens now include a convention center and a rainforest pyramid, whose revenues go toward making the therapy program self-supporting.
The area in which Moody Gardens is set was a marshland. It was a fishing hole for the local fishermen, and it wasn't used for much of anything else. So development-wise, it's been a huge success for Galveston. Entertainment-wise, Galveston works on tourism. Without the tourists, we wouldn't survive.
80% of Galveston's revenue is based on tourism. Moody Gardens is certainly a draw, but the multiplier effect of a Moody Gardens is just tremendous on the community.
The more people we get from the outside that spend their money at Moody Gardens will enable us to enhance our programming through Hope Therapy.
Here's the date palms you planted, and the oak trees you planted, and the pine trees you planted. Patient. That's right.
Like a meandering river, democracy makes its way, slowly. Our hopes, fears, dreams, and ideals all come into play. It takes time to build a community this way. It can either be washed away in a minute or survive the worst disasters.
This is actually the first flood. We were in the building to put up whatever equipment and everything we could to save. This would have been the 7th of July, 93. This actually went down, we cleaned the water out, and 3 weeks later it came back in and was about 20 inches higher the second time than it was this time. At that time, you couldn't get in to even be able to look around. When we were flooded the second time, it really hurt a lot of people severely. Not only because they had cleaned everything out and reworked houses and locations around the community, but you did a lot of emotional damage to people because a lot of them had cleaned their houses out, moved back in, and actually had to move out again in less than 4 weeks.
What this town needs is a sense of hope that this is not how it has to continue. They don't have to decline. The town does not have to die, but they need to know how they can create a vision for an alive town, an economically strong town, and a vibrant town.
Pattonsburg, Missouri hadn't given up. After the double floods, the town had to move to higher ground. Federal, state, and local agencies are paying for the move, but the people of Pattonsburg had to decide what kind of town they wanted. They had to deliberate their future from the ground up. What should they change? What should they preserve? Who should be next door? Where to put the school? How big could their new homes be?
Either as your house as it is today, or you can think about it as your house as it will be. What we're looking at is some patterns for what will be in the new Pattonsburg.
They kept saying, well, give us your ideas. Well, we had no idea what ideas we had until they started asking everybody and what they wanted and what they expected. All I expected is we should hurry up and build a town and give me a house, they live in it, and I'd be ready. I mean...